Hello and welcome back to Woven. I'm Rebecca Robeson, and guys, today I want you to see what I've done for my spring and summer updates in my family room.
You know me, I'm all about my business.
Right now I am standing in my family room. You guys have seen my family room at different times of the year, like Christmas time, remember that? Well, how about when I did the Using What You Have video last year, where I used a lot of this furniture to put into this room. It was the only furniture I had that I came from California, and I did the best I could with what I had. Well, right now, a couple months ago, I decided I'm going to assess the situation here and what could I do to brighten things up, lighten things up, and make it look different for this time of the year, spring and summer.
'Cause I found my place where I'm always feeling good.
You know, the entire point of our videos here, both mine and my daughter's, because we are Woven, are to help you and to teach you how to make your home beautiful. So I'm going to show you today how I made my home, which was already beautiful, even more beautiful. And a lot of times we do it on a budget, and sometimes we do it where we spend some more money. This room, total budget. So here's the question of the video. I'd really like for you to leave me a comment below, okay? Are you the kind of person, or do you change up your home for the seasons? Now, I'm guessing a lot of you will say, well, I do it at Christmas. But do you do it when you go from winter to summer? And would you like to? Well, there are kind of some basic principles that you should understand and know in order to have the flexibility to do that if you want to. And what it is what I did here. I have very good quality furniture in my family room because it's the room that I am in most of the time. It's the room that I watch television in. So the quality means it's comfortable. It's also very classic in style, so I don't get tired of it. But the best part, and the reason it's so flexible, is because it's white. I have white sofas. I know, does that sound crazy? Are you wondering, how in the world do you live with white sofas? That's actually the real sofa. That's what it is. And it's very white, but taking this little fleece blanket I got at Target, tucking it under, and here, I mean, when my housekeeper comes each week, she actually takes this off and washes it. So my sofa always looks fresh, bright, and white. Number one, most important, to me, it's the showstopper in the room. I added window treatments, you guys. I have these window treatments. They're just on grommets, and you know what they are? They are simple from Wayfair.com panels. And I'll explain to you that on each one of these windows, I have 2 panels. So this is really important when you're doing window treatments and you're gonna do them yourself. If you only do 1 panel's worth, like this, look, that right there, that's 1 panel's worth. Not enough. Wimpy, wimpy, don't do that. Now you can see I have 2 separate panels and they make 4 pleats each. So that's how you get kind of that quality look. The other thing I did was I was at Home Goods, and guys, I found these great curtain rods that match my industrial theme that I have going on in my house. They look like pipes that would come out of a wall that have plumbing in them. I love that look. In fact, I actually had some custom made for the beach house when I did it. Do you remember that? I got these at Home Goods, and they were $24 a rod. I'm taking those. I'm taking all of those. I took every single rod they had, and because I want to make sure I had enough, and then I just returned the ones that I didn't use, just so you know, if you don't buy it when you see it, you'll be sorry. Then I also showed you earlier that these have the Lutron shades that are attached on these metal boxes, and they all come down together. Amazing. Now you'll note that I kept the same area rug that was in here before, but instead of playing on that kind of a caramel color that's in it, that nutmeg, I think nutmeg is a good one, maybe cinnamon. Anyway, instead of playing on that, I decided to pull out all of the creamy tones. So here I am with my white sofa, all of the butterscotch, oh, I have so many names for that color. All those pillows went out and into my living room. And then I kept the gray that was here before, and then I just added multiple different types of pillows that I already owned. that alone just kind of lightened it up. Now how about here on my coffee table? Before, I had a really amazing piece of reclaimed wood that was sitting on top of the table. In this case, I just brought in my white leather tray, added a little bit, see the contrast of the warm wood bowl. I kept, whoa, these guys are topsy-turvy. And if I have too much of this, they get even more topsy-turvy. Just saying. Cheers. Oh, cheers. Mm. By adding the white leather tray, it lightened up and brought some light into the center of the room without losing the balance that the black has. When you're standing where you're standing right now and you see this room for the first time, you see the black here in the center, you see the black tripod lamps on the outside, you see the black television. So there are elements of black that kind of pull themselves in, and having it in the center still seemed important to me, but by bringing in the lighter tray, it made it more springy and more summery. This console is great. It holds pillows, blankets, games, photo albums, family kind of stuff that you'd want to access when you're in the family room. But I brought in different accessory pieces, again, to bring in that lighter, summery look. Now, I'm from California, so I have probably more coral, geodes and starfish and, you know, just pelicans and stuff than most people do, because that's a huge theme in California. And I brought it all with me. So it didn't cost me anything, and I lightened this area up. Let's go back to the using what you have video. You'll see in that video that I used to have the tripod lamps sitting in the center of each of these windows. And then I put these big, huge potted plants in, and they were on the outside of that. The reason I think this is an important design teaching moment is to explain balance. First off, I love symmetry. It's a very symmetrical wall. That makes me happy. You put your plants right in front of the windows and they're gonna really thrive. So that was a good thing too. But you know what? By taking those tripod lamps out, I actually made my room feel larger. The light source is out, and it actually lights up the curtains. It's really pretty. So now take a look in the ceiling here. I've got 5 candle lights. Well, they're kind of like this, they're here. I have nothing out on the sides. So by bringing these floor lamps out, it just, like I said, it just makes the room feel more expansive. One of the issues I was having when I decided to do window treatments was these pieces of art here. I love these, and I've had them here. Let's see, I think I even kept them at Christmas time, but definitely in my Using What You Have video. And I wasn't sure if where the panels landed, if this was going to be too tight. But I was able to maneuver these in such a way that it really isn't, and I think it still looks really great there. So I kept those. Let's go over here to this side. So this is an accessory ladder. I bought this probably, I'm going to say 25 years ago. It's been in nearly every house we've ever lived in. And I love it because there's so many different things you can do on it. I loved this piece of, I want to say driftwood, but it's not. I think it's like a piece of olive wood. And it's just so pretty. And look here, I also bought myself one of these little bird paintings. I love this thing. I bought one of these for my clients, and I loved it so much that I went back when I moved to Tulsa and I bought one for myself. It's different, but it's similar. And the colors in it have all of those rusty colors and oranges and light, but also just a little bit of blue. And I think that's so pretty to add and bring a little bit of that in. And then on the bottom, down here, this is my grandmother's old sewing kit. And what do I put in here? Well, it has some of her old things in it, but I also put my remote for the Lutron shades. And it looks pretty, and look how that little bit of color comes back in with the bird painting as well. The last thing is this great plant. I want to say this is an elephant. We need to call Mindy and ask her, what's the name of this? I think it's called elephant's trunk or something like that. But it comes out of a gourd. It's not even in wood, in dirt. It's in a gourd. Over on this side, the other side of the arch, is this corner that's always been kind of a weird corner. I've said it a million times. This house is about 2 feet too short this way and 2 feet too short that way. So the way I had to do my furniture in here was float it. It's not against the walls, it's floating, which gives me a walk-through, a pass-through into the kitchen. That meant this is awkward because what are you gonna put here? I had some pieces of art here before, and many of you guys have seen and commented on the leaf photographs that I've had for years and years, and I've had them in every house. Well, I took them down because I thought they looked too autumny, and they did. And I bought these 4 pieces for, I don't know, probably 19 bucks each at Home Goods. And look how perfectly, now just a little side note, these 2 are the same and these 2 are the same. And I think it would be very common for a person to think, well, I need 4 pieces. That's, you know, I wanted to have 4 to fill in the space, but they only make 2 of this. So what do? You double what you buy and you just flip them. And I think if I didn't actually point that out to you, you'd walk right past that and you wouldn't even realize it's the same thing doubled. But here was the new guy on the block. I love this lamp. Look at this lamp. It is 96 inches tall. This is a 9-foot ceiling room. This has so much of an industrial feel to it. Even the back, it got this cranking thing. The architecture of how this is made, and then this glass ball, and it's not just shiny, clear, you know, smooth, because that would be very modern. Although this has a modern element to it as well. And I think it's glamorous. So it's my 3 styles all put together in one lamp. I wish I would have bought, they had a pair, and I'm huge on buying pairs, but this was the most expensive thing I put in this upgrade. My spring, summer upgrades, this was the most expensive thing. I also brought in some books here and a piece of coral with the clear. So you see this theme, almost slightly beachy, I guess coral's definitely beachy, and the glamorous look of this. So I'm mixing coastal in with my look. And you know what? I'm fine with it. What do you think? Do you think it works? I kind of think it works. All right, are you ready to see the last thing I did, which I think is pretty clever, if I do say so myself. And the reason I think that is, yes, now you can still walk back through here, but what do you walk into? You walk into a kitchen. The one little area that I hadn't really addressed this whole time, for the most part, was this little empty niche. Now I did put a bar cart there at Christmas time, but it wasn't big enough. I mean, it was okay. But now I have put something in that I love. It has filled in the space, it's very functional, and here's what it does. Remember how I explained that my console's here, the 2 big huge plants are here, and then the tripod lamps are here? Well, beyond that is that empty niche. So I wanted to connect it from a design aspect. I wanted the finishes to connect. Go ahead and bring that finish of that console into the table over here. Bring the concept and the finish of the ladder, the metal on the ladder. Make it look industrial and yet modern with a touch of glam. There's a couple of things I want to point out. First off, I think you saw last year that I did add this antique window that I had. It's a vintage window I had in my home in San Diego. Found a great place for it. We did put in another one of the Lutron shades, and of course it's electronic. And then look, this is just, it fills the space just right. Do you see what I was talking about when I talked about the metal legs having a similar look as what's on the ladder? And I don't remember exactly how much it was. I think it was like under $200 for a desk. But here's the important thing. This came in 4 different finishes, 3 of which I thought might look good. One was black. Why would I do black? Because all of the countertops in my kitchen are black. So maybe I would want it to match and pull in with this room. Or one was this rustic gray washed wood, reclaimed looking wood. but was it gonna match that? I was trying to go with that. And I thought, if it does, I'm gonna stick with that one. And another one was a gray finish. So it was like, I wasn't sure. And you know, when you're buying online, it's hard to know if the finishes or the colors are accurate. Would you agree with that? So what did I do? I bought all three. They were only 200 bucks a piece. I bought all three on my credit card. When they got here, I took the tops out and I put them up against my furniture, and I was able to see, does the black look right? Does the weathered gray look right? Does the more refined gray look right? The weathered gray is almost identical to that piece of furniture in there. The other two desks went back. In fact, Wayfair came and picked them up. So it was like no skin off my nose, got my money back, and here I have the one that looks perfect. I hope that's an idea that you guys will implement. It's the same thing I teach you all the time, overbuy. Overbuy, bring it home, look at it in the environment, and then decide which one do you want, and the ones you don't want, return them right away and get your money back. Here's the last thing about this that I think is pretty cool. You see this chair? Does this remind you of anything? Yes, my dining chairs. This is exactly one of my dining chairs. And you know, the thing is that I wanted to have only 5 dining chairs in my dining room because, again, the room is not big enough for 6. But I still had an extra chair. Well, look how this worked out. It is like the perfect desk chair. And because you see it from the side, I mean, architecturally, isn't that kind of swanky? Leave me a comment below and let me know. And guess what? It's in that washed gray finish. So again, repeating a matter from another area of my house and not having to spend any money on it. How's that? Some schmott decorating there, right? On a budget. All right, you guys, I hope that this was helpful for you, and I also hope you like how it looks. I can tell you, I love how it looks. It really doesn't feel heavy and dark like it was starting to feel. Having the lighter colors is kind of a nice, refreshing, it's just refreshing. Let's leave it there. All right, cheers to finishing off this room and almost finishing this entire series. I think we have maybe one more video coming out for you to see. And then after that, we're gonna get started on my new house. It's just gonna be an absolute exciting time in my life. So I hope you guys come back for those videos. If you're not a member of the design sessions, you know me. I'm always telling you, join, join, join. It's free for the first week and you have nothing to lose. But you know what you have to gain besides becoming your own interior designer and having confidence when you go shopping, to know how to do everything I did in here and then some. That's the first most important thing. But the next thing is you could possibly be the lucky winner of a $25,000 sweepstakes. And you get a chance to talk to me and to my daughter, Shara. I mean, that's just a small thing in comparison to the 25 grand. But we do want to know you and we want to help you through the process. So go over to the design sessions and join today. Do not hesitate, right? Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, my editor is not going to put any of that into this video because he's kind of a soft sell kind of guy. And I'm like, just do it. What are you thinking? You know, because that's just sort of how I am. Go big or go home, you know? All right. Be the kind of person that makes things happen. That's what I say. And that's what I've done all my life. And I want that for you too. Okay, you guys, I will see you next time on the YouTube channel here at Ken Woven. And remember to follow me on Instagram. All right, love you. Bye-bye. This just in. Mindy from Colmia says, it's a staghorn. Nothing elephant about this puppy. It's a staghorn. But I was close, wasn't I? I knew it was a mammal. Is it a mammal? It's not a rodent, I know that.
Alexa, what's a staghorn?
As a noun, staghorn can have a couple meanings. 1. A piece of a stag's antler, especially when used to form objects, decorations, or the like. 2. Staghorn coral, any of several stony corals of the genus Acropora, having the skeleton branched like the antlers of a stag. By the way, you have a new notification. Do you want to hear it?
No.
I don't know that one.